morning. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Today we're looking at promises in Node.js. Why, you ask? Because we have to keep promises sometimes. We need to keep promises all the time. So we're going to look at promises and have some fun. Intro. Alright, let's get started. So, first things first, we are going to just do a simple promise and we're going to create a promise object. Why? Because it's fun. So we're going to do just a simple function sample promise. And this function is going to be so awesome. It's going to return a new promise. What? And then it's going to return, right, and this is going to return two functions. It's going to return a resolve function and it's going to return a reject function. In this case, the resolve will actually resolve the promise and the reject is actually reject the promise. The fun fact about promises is that they have three states. 3. Pending, that means the promise has not done anything yet. Rejecting the promise, and then there is actually resolving the promise or basically settling it. That means the promise is done, it returns something. In this case, it can return whatever you give it to return, and then you're done. Now, in our case, we're going to try first utilizing the chaining, in this case, then and catches, to actually resolve promises. And after that, we're going to look at async awaits, and you'll get to decide which one to use, because at the end of the day, you're the developer. I'm just here to have fun and show you random stuff. First things first, we're going to call sample promise. And you'll see that if we just run this thing, it's just not do anything because we're not returning or rejecting the promise. Actually, if we were to console log the call, we should actually get that the promise is not resolved. See, you get actually promise pending. That means the promise did not get resolved by the time that this thing console logged. Console promise, we're going to, no, we don't want to delete everything. That was a weird scream. We're going to actually resolve this promise first of all. And we'll just we'll resolve it and say candy apple. Why candy apple? Because I want some sweets right now. Why? I don't know. We're going to do a then. In this case, the then is actually going to catch the resolve of the promise, and you'll see that if I put rest here, that's just the actual response is being provided, and we're going to console log that, and we're going to call this response 1. Why response 1? I said we're doing chaining. Why? So I can show you how it works. So if we just save that, you'll see that it says response 1 candy apple. Yes, eat that apple, it's delicious. But what happens if we reject? What happens if we're like, no, I don't want no candy apple. I hate candy apple. Well, let's return an error and say, no candy apple for you. Ooh, candy apple for you. There we go. And once we do that, it's gonna error. Why is it gonna error? Because we did not handle the promise. No, God, please, no, no. We did not handle the promise. And the reason because of that is because we need to catch that. And that's why Node is telling you, you are a bad person. Catch the error, okay? So, to do that, we're just going to do that catch. And in this case, we're just going to just name it E. E can be whatever variable you want. I'm going to name it E for electricity and elephants. We're going to console log the error, and I'm gonna put error 1 here because again, we're doing chaining. We're going to actually log that. And once you do that, then you'll see that it didn't actually tell us that it was an unhandled error, and we actually returned the actual error, and we actually printed it properly. Yes, we did. We kept our promise. Next thing, what would happen if, for whatever reason, I want to do something within the first then? So we're going to then actually, no pun intended, we're going to actually return, let's say, response 2, do not confuse, and we're going to just copy and paste this thing because I don't feel like typing it again. Now you'll see here that response 2 did get called but is undefined, and the reason because of that is because the first then did not return anything. It just returned the console log function in this case. So we're going to change that and we're going to console log, but we're also going to return something else. Let's say I want vinegar. Why vinegar? Because it's the first thing that came into my head. I know that's weird. It doesn't matter. So we do that and we get response to it's vinegar. What? And then you're saying, how is this working? Why does it work? Promises. You're only creating one promise. How can you keep doing the then and resolving multiple promises? And the reason because of that is because then actually returns another promise. And within that promise, we're actually going to resolve that promise by calling then, and that's why you can actually chain them, right? Awesome! What happens though if I throw within the first then? What do you think will happen? Put that on the comments below and let me know what would happen before I tell you how it happened. So we're going to just say, no, I do not want your apple cider. So I'm going to say new error, and I'm going to say, hey, I want some applesauce instead, okay? Because I like applesauce. So we'll save that, and boom, you'll see that the second response did not get logged. Why? Because when this throws, the then is not actually catching that error that was thrown, which was a rejection, and the catch is. But the cool thing, what happens then if I put a then after that? What do you think is gonna happen? Oh my god, I'm so nervous. I don't even know what's gonna happen. JKLOL, of course I know. Why do I know? Because I'm awesome. So we're going to catch that. Whoops, I'm missing a parenthesis. So we're going to put the rest3 here and name it rest3, and what's going to happen is that rest3 is going to return, and it's going to return undefined. Why? Because this error is not returning anything. Whoops. Even though that caught, and then that returned another response. So what happens then if I just do this? I catch the error, and then after that error, I just return, let's say, pear juice. Why pear juice? Because I want some pear juice. So I save that, and you'll see that response 3 has pear juice. Alright, that was pretty much it. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today we went into then and catches when it comes to promises, and we went into chaining. Next week we're going to talk about async awaits, which is the second part of promises. Make sure to have a wonderful week. Take it day by day. I know 2020 has been insane, but things will get better. So I'll see you next week. Stay tuned, subscribe, like this video if you enjoy it. Bye.